So here I am, just returning home from the first game of the season. Bournemouth won, West Ham United won. I've got to be honest, it wasn't anywhere near as bad as many of us predicted it to be. At least we didn't lose, but let's be honest, we dropped 2 points today because the minute we went ahead, David Moyes reverted to type and decided to defend for his life. Which is a shame because we had the better of the first half. We were unfortunate to hit the post from the Souček shot. We went into half-time thinking, well, there's only really going to be one winner if we continue to do the same as we did in the first half. And we did. We started off the second half quite bright. We were at them again. We were playing really decent football. And then we made the drastic error, didn't we? We went a goal up. Absolutely superb shot from Jared Bowen. It was right in front of us. The way he smashed it in, it was superb. And from that moment on, unfortunately, there was only one team in it because we didn't see West Ham in the opposition half for most of the second half, I'm afraid. It was one of those things where we go a goal ahead and Moyes decided to shut up shop, which is going to be the same as it's going to be throughout the whole season, unfortunately. Which is such a shame because had we been given if he'd allowed the team to just go forward, we could have easily have snatched the second. I mean, we hit the post again in the second half. Paqueta's shot hit the post, and we had the chances. We looked good. Paqueta looked a little bit subdued, but he still had a half decent game. Pablo Fornals in the centre of the park was superb. You know, it's exactly where he should have been playing for the last 2 seasons, but unfortunately for him, he kept being thrown out wide, and it affected his game. But when you look at the way he played in the centre of the park this afternoon, you'd be worried for him to lose his place, especially with the players that are coming through the door in the transfer window. So I thought he had a great game. I thought Souček looked a different player every time. It seems that Declan Rice has not been in the team. Souček has picked up his game. Well, now he's got the whole season to pick up his game, hasn't he? Because Rice has gone for good. Areola was a surprise start. It was a pleasing surprise start. I think we've waited 2 seasons to have Areola as our number 1 keeper, and I've got to be honest, he did well. You know, he was. Commanded the box. He came out for crosses. He was pulled off some really decent saves. I think the only thing that was a surprise, because he's normally better at it than Fabianski, is his distribution. It looked like he was told. There was a couple of times throughout the game where he had players near him and he could have just tapped it to maybe Zuma or Paqueta drop deep, or even a Gerd, etc. But it looked like he'd been instructed to just pump it up. And that's what we were doing. You know, this is going to go back to Moyes' season before last, the 21-22 season, where we're going to play it long. Antonio, as he described it himself, we're just going to play off scraps and try and move forward, which is a shame because we've got ballers in the middle of the park. A Gerd can carry the ball out from the back. Fornals can carry the ball out from midfield, and or obviously Paqueta as well. So we've got players that can play football, but it seemed that what Moyes wanted to do was just pump it from the goalie up front, and it just doesn't work. You know, Antonio put in effort, but that's it. He put in effort. He can no longer hold the ball up. He's never had the best of touches, but he can no longer do what he used to do with the ball, where he'd boot it 20 yards in front of the defender and go and get it. He just looks a shadow of the player he was, and that's down to age. You know, it's unfortunately, you know, and it's a shame because we can't rely on that all season, and we can't also rely on, if we go a goal up, for goodness sake, if we were 2-0 up and then Moyes decided to put defenders on and defend the lead, I'd say fine, that's fine, but not at 1-0. You know, we've never been good at defending a 1-goal lead, and we never will be. It's just not the way we're, you know, designed to be. Now, possibly with Alvarez with possibly Maguire. We're hearing that there's maybe a delay there because now Man United can't find a replacement. Why don't we go and get their targets that they want to replace him with, rather than us buying Maguire, because they're likely to buy them for around about the same price, if not cheaper. Anyway, that's another story. So with the possibility of Maguire coming in, with Alvarez coming in, and with JWP, that's gone a bit quiet. I know he had his medical on Thursday or Friday, so he should have been announced by now. I don't know what happened. He certainly didn't play for Southampton this weekend in their 4-4 draw against Norwich. So with those sorts of players coming in, we're going to be better at defending, I guess, if we go a goal up. But that means with Ward-Prowse and Alvarez and Maguire coming in, we're going to lose players. I kept looking around the pitch today, asking myself, well, who's going to drop out of the team for those three players? Because they're all likely to be starters. And unfortunately for Fornals, he is almost definitely going to be one of the players that will drop out. I think Benrahma had an awful game, so you might think that he might drop down to the bench. And then, I don't know who else. Depends on what Moyes does up front. But with those players, we will be able to defend the lead. But I don't want us to. I want us to look what Bournemouth did. Bournemouth were a goal down. They made 5 changes to affect the game, and it worked. You know, every time one substitution sort of didn't look like it was going to come off, another sub came on, and they made use of their 5 subs. David Moyes, yet again, waited and waited and waited to make the substitutions. He brought Thilo Kehrer on, which tells you 100% what he's going to be doing. Thilo Kehrer came on as a defensive midfielder. A lot of people have been talking about that. Maybe he can play that role. Well, he was in there. He looked a little bit lost, to be honest with you. But you know what's going to happen. You know that Alvarez is going to be in there to be the holding midfielder. And then he just left it late. Really late. He brought Ings on for Antonio. You might as well have thrown Mbama on, to be honest, because he's more similar to Antonio than Ings ever will be. And Ings barely had a touch, and it's no surprise because he played up front on his own, which he can't do. And then right at the end, with 3 minutes to go in added time, he decided to put on Cornet. What's the point? What for? What do you think Cornet's going to do in the last 3 minutes? Moyes just doesn't change his approach to games, and it will be frustrating for us. If we win games and he does it, you kind of go, well, at least we won. Still won't be happy with it, but at least we won. But at 1-0 down, it was obvious that he was chancing his arm, and it was fairly obvious that they were going to pull a goal back. They threw everything at us, and that's exactly what they did. They got a goal back, and they looked like, another 5 or 6 minutes in the game, they looked like they would have been the ones that won. It wouldn't have been deserved, because we played the better in the first half. We played really, really well up to the goal, but then Moyes did what Moyes does, and he tried to defend a 1-goal lead. Still, first game of the season, at least we didn't lose. Onwards and upwards. We should have a few new faces in the team when it comes to seeing Chelsea next Saturday at the stadium. Let's see how it goes then. I just hope we don't sit back and defend. Even though Chelsea have got a brand new team to sort out, it will be the worst thing to do, really. Still, let's take the draw. We've only got, I said jokingly, we've only got to get 38 draws to stay up this season. We got 1. Another 37 to go. Anyway, if you are new to the channel, please do hit the like, subscribe and bell notification to let you know when I'm next on. And I will see you all very soon.